Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I'm a divorce valuation and mediation expert in St. Louis, Missouri. I have the pleasure of discussing today a fabulous book called the Forensic Accounting Deskbook with my guest, Miles Mason, a divorce lawyer in Memphis, Tennessee. So he's actually written this book, the Forensic Accounting Deskbook, and it's a practical guide to financial investigation and analysis for family lawyers. But I also think it's a really important resource for business valuation experts. Welcome, Miles. How can financial experts even help attorneys or be of assistance to family lawyers in a divorce?
Yeah, great question. It's, I think, apparent and axiomatic for most lawyers to understand when they need a forensic accountant. The question is, how does a lawyer sell the client on spending extra money? And so I've got a few tips on how to do that. First, explain to clients that forensic accountants can go through discovery faster and often less expensive. One of the things that I do believe is that every piece of paper, every document in a divorce needs to be reviewed. And it could be 1 second, it could be 1 hour looking at a page. And forensic accountants can perform that function, sometimes less expensive, because they know what they're looking at. Second, forensic accountants can testify. As the divorce lawyer, I can't testify. So if I see something in a tax return, I can't tell the judge what that item means. I've got to have an expert. Third, the magic behind expert witness testimony is very simple. They can rely on hearsay to form opinions. And many times, a lot of the documents in a divorce are chock full of hearsay, double hearsay, triple hearsay, and or the parties may not have created them. So you solve a lot of evidentiary issues with just having an expert. You can get tax returns, bank statements, canceled checks, check images into evidence through your forensic accountant. Now, also, one of the things I really love is that forensic accountants can be perceived by the judge or the trier of fact as independent and unbiased. Okay, so when you've got a client who's going to walk in and say, look, I only spend $30 a month on something related to work, okay, the judge is going to look at it and say, what do you mean you only spend $30? Okay, reverse that. Well, I spend $600 a month on hair care. Okay, there are some people that do. But what the forensic accountant can do is say, I've looked at the numbers for the last 24 months prior to the filing of the divorce, and my client spent $595 a month on average on hair care. Okay, well, that establishes lifestyle, and that testimony is a lot more credible and perceived to be less biased than the person themselves. Okay, forensic accountants can smell problems. They know, and this is just really kind of magic. And every time I get a chance to speak to forensic accountants, I try to tell them, nobody can do what we do. You can look at a tax return. You can look at a personal financial statement. You can look at the documents submitted in a divorce and tell if there's a problem. Okay. If there's a massive estate over $5 million, may not be massive, and there's no tax return over $110,000 ever, well, you're going to ask a few questions. Obviously, somebody's figured out something. Okay. So forensic accountants know just by looking at the paperwork when certain items don't add up. And then finally, the most beneficial use of a forensic accountant is very simple. When I'm negotiating a settlement and I've got my client in a room where, let's say we're at mediation, and the other side knows I have a forensic accountant in the room with me negotiating this, it does alter the relative negotiating position of the parties, meaning the other side's going to feel that we have an advantage. Whether we have an advantage or not, these little perceived advantages add up over time and encourages the opposing spouse to get real, get serious, and cut the deal that's favorable to our client.